How are you, boxing fans? My name is Rick, on Boxing Club platform, from the London-Montreal boxing show, a unique show, in North America and in the world, the whole world, We're gonna talk together about a fight, okay? Michael Angelo Serra from London and Rick Amel, it's me from Montreal, boxing fans. So we're gonna talk about this beautiful fight, this weekend. Are you ready, boxing fans, about this fight this weekend? Are you ready? Êtes-vous prêts, fans de boxe, pour le fameux combat ce week-end? Alexander Usyk against Daniel Dubois, les fans de boxe à Montréal, and the people, the fans, boxing fans in London, Are you ready for this fight, okay? At the Wembley Stadium. So I'm gonna keep calm, okay? Keep calm. So I'm gonna talk with Michael, about this fight. I'm gonna tell to Michael who's gonna win this fight, and it's gonna happen, this weekend. So Michael is gonna be in the Wembley Stadium, this weekend. So he's my partner, and he's gonna tell us, the feeling inside, okay? So, I think it's important. On va être là, donc, avec Michael ce week-end. On va parler de boxe, fan de boxe. Donc, oui, je le fais dans les deux langues. Pourquoi pas? Pourquoi pas? Donc, j'aurais pas besoin de traduire, l'intro. So, Michael, you asked me who's gonna win this fight, Michael. I'm gonna tell you that, okay? I think, Daniel Dubois has a lot of chance to win this fight, this weekend. Yes, he's got a lot of chance to win this fight. He's younger, he's stronger, and mentally, he's very strong, He made a KO on Anthony Joshua, one of the best fighters of our era, boxing fans, okay? So that's it. I think he's got a very good chance to win this fight. What do you think? You tell me your comments, and it's important to know that. Boxing fans, donc les fans de boxe, mettez-moi vos commentaires donc en bas quand vous allez voir la vidéo. J'aimerais savoir qui va gagner ce combat-là, fan de boxe, entre Daniel Dubois et Alexander Usyk. So, boxing fans, who's gonna win this fight? And I think, as I told you, Daniel Dubois has a lot of chance to win this fight, this weekend. As I told you, he's younger, and he made a knockout, a KO on Mr. Anthony Joshua, un des meilleurs combattants de notre ère, boxing fans. So I think it will be a unique show, this weekend, and Michael Angelo Serra will be at the Wembley Stadium. Donc, Michael va être au Wembley Stadium et il va nous parler un peu du feeling ce week-end, fan de boxe. Donc, pour ma part, Daniel Dubois a des grosses chances de gagner. Si il neutralise Alexander Usyk avant la fin du combat. Avant la fin du combat, et si le combat se termine à la fin, à mon avis, c'est Alexander Usyk qui va gagner par décision ce combat-là. Et je ne veux pas le vendre la mèche, mais j'ai hâte d'entendre la réponse de Michael Angelo Serra. So, in English, I think Dubois has a lot of chance to win this fight, if he made a KO on Mr. Usyk before the end of the fight, if the fight goes at the end. So I think Alexander Usyk has a better chance to win this fight, okay? It's clear. So, that's it for that. Et je vais poser donc la fameuse question, encore une fois, à mon ami Michael Angelo Serra. Michael, please tell me who's gonna win this fight this weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, Richard. Sorry about that. Yeah, this fight is amazing, and I'm 4 days away from getting to Wembley Stadium, and yeah, of course I'm excited. I mean, this is for me in my 40-year journey, if you like, as a boxing fan, historian, whatever. This is a massive thing for me because I've never been to an heavyweight championship of the world, never been to one of these fights, and what with it being undisputed, to me, it's a big thing. A lot of people I know. I mean, it's not. I mean, I know it is intriguing, this fight, and it isn't. I mean, Dubois, for what it's worth, I sent him a message way before the first fight, and I told him what to do. Well, he ain't gonna listen to me. I mean, who am I? I'm just a guy on the street. I'm not one of these big name trainers. But the thing is, the guy who he's got in the corner, a guy called Don Charles, who's respected and revered in the fight game. I mean, to me, he's not really much of a trainer. I mean, he's not vocal in that corner. He's not Enzo Calzaghe. He's not Jimmy Tibbs. And that's what Dubois needs, somebody who's going to put a little bit of fire in him, put the wind up him, so to speak. Basically, I mean, the only best route for Dubois to win this is, as I've stated to him before, you've got to keep it up the pressure, keep on top of the guy, on the smaller man naturally, and just go to that body. That is the best way of victory. It's the only key to victory, because if he stands off of Dubois, he'll get outboxed all night long, and his only key to victory is to go forwards, not go all out, just sort of fight in controlled bursts, because he doesn't want to punch himself out. That's the last thing he can do, is start punching himself out, because if he does, it'll end up probably being over quicker than it was in the first fight. So he needs to sort of fighting, attack in controlled bursts, and more than anything concentrate on the body, because as we know, he did hurt Usyk before to the body, and Usyk doesn't like it downstairs. So that's his best key to victory. He needs to, as I say, keep the pressure up though. Just keep coming forwards, not back off, because if he backs off, he's just going to get his head jabbed off. So he needs to keep coming forwards, applying pressure, and fight in spurts, in controlled attacks, so to speak. Not all out, controlled attacks. If he's got Usyk on Queer Street, so to speak, he's got him, then yeah, go out for the victory, caught for the stoppage. But that's his best route to victory, and it's his only route to victory. He will never outbox Alexander Usyk. You said Usyk isn't that dominant at heavyweight as he was at cruiserweight. Yes, fair comment. I think the two Fury fights proved that. The first fight, he seemed to win fairly handily, but the second fight was a lot closer, as I may have mentioned to you already. It was very, very close, that second fight, and it seemed like Fury was sort of maybe catching up with Usyk a little bit, getting more used to him. So yeah, there's a third fight on the cards, possibly, Usyk-Fury. That is, again, adding to the intrigue, because, Fury was almost in touching distance at the finish line, but I think Usyk just did enough, but he only did just do enough to nick the another decision in the second fight. So I see that this fight, though, getting back to this fight, I see that I think just Usyk's going to beat him again. He's just going to keep away from him. He's going to tuck his elbows in, and he's not going to try and evade any attacks that Dubois fights. I mean, Usyk's been around the block enough times. Usyk, yeah, I mean, he's dominant at heavyweight at the moment, because I think I'm not saying they're poor Fury and AJ or Dubois, but they're, what I would say, comparing them to the past heavyweight champions, again, I have to go back to the sort of 70s, 80s. They would have just made half decent sparring partners for the likes of an Ali or a Frazier and Mike Tyson. I don't think they would have even lasted with Mike Tyson. I don't think they would last a week in Mike Tyson's training camp. Fury, AJ, all of them, including Usyk. So Usyk is I don't like to use the word poor, but yeah, I will use the word poor. He's the best of a poor bunch, or best of an average bunch. Yeah, that'd be more fitting. He's the best of an average bunch. And so, yes, he at the moment is dominant, not as he was at cruiserweight, but because his performances aren't as dominant at cruiserweight, at heavyweight as they were at cruiserweight. So yeah, you're right there. But I'm gonna go for Usyk. I think Usyk's just the better fighter all round. He always finds a way to win, and that's what makes a champion, and what basically separates the champions from the contenders.
So, boxing fans, Michelangelo Serra, explain, the fact that Mr. Alexander Usyk, he's a champion. Why he's a champion? Because he knows the way of victory, always, in this fight. So, I think he's a champion, but he don't want to compare, Alexander Usyk with the year 1970, and 1980, because at this time we had, Muhammad Ali, we had Joe Frazier, George Foreman, Mike Tyson. Okay, so we're gonna continue that, with Michelangelo Serra. Very interesting comments, with Michael, always. So donc Michael parlait donc que il disait que en premier que Usyk était comme moi, il disait la même chose que moi, que c'était un cruiserweight, mais qu'il était tellement talentueux qu'il a réussi à battre tous les heavyweights, donc les poids lourds, fans de boxe. Mais ce n'est pas, donc il n'était pas aussi dominant qu'en cruiserweight, en heavyweight, ça c'est clair. Mais il domine quand même son ère, donc sa génération, mais sans comparer donc avec les meilleurs d'antan qui étaient, donc comme j'ai mentionné tantôt, Joe Frazier, Mohamed Ali surtout, et puis George Foreman, Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes. Donc, et voilà, nous allons continuer avec les commentaires, donc très intéressants de Michelangelo Serra, avec les sous-titres aussi que je mets en français. So, we're going to continue with Michelangelo Serra for the second part of this podcast, okay? My name is Rick, again, on the LondonMontreal Boxing Show, okay? I'm going to come back with another comment at the end of the podcast, okay? Thank you, bye-bye.
Is a world champion by default. He was like, as I say, Usyk was in a position where he either gave up the title, was going to be stripped anyhow, and obviously you can't blame him for wanting to face Dubois a second time, because Dubois didn't bring the financial whack, so to speak, that a second Fury fight was to do. And the same thing happened in 87 when Michael Spinks, he had the IBF World Heavyweight title, and he was either going to face his number one challenger, mandatory challenger, Tony Tucker, or miss out on a massive mega payday against Jerry Cooney. And at the end of the day, you couldn't blame him for fighting Jerry Cooney. And he cashed in. And that's the same with Usyk. And this is the thing with this heavyweight championship fight and all this unification. And it's the same at all the weights. How long can these champions remain undisputed for? To tell you the truth, to me, it feels nowadays more of a joke to just unify them in the first place, because we know that within 4 months, 5 months, they're going to start giving them unrealistic schedules, and then the fights, the titles become vacant, they get stripped, or they are forced to give them up, and then this is it. So unified is a bit of a waste of time, really. But we all know who the true champion is at heavyweight, and it's Alexander Usyk. He is the number one. Dubois, obviously, he looked good against AJ. AJ's puncher assistance isn't that good anymore, and I just think Dubois, he was just basically awarded that belt, which he was. It was classed as interim to begin with. He won the interim, and then all of a sudden, beating Joshua. Just prior to that, actually, the IBF gave him, said that he was the fully fledged IBF heavyweight champion. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight, because obviously, if I was staying at home and not going, yeah, I'd be looking forward to it, but not as much as I am, because I'm going to be there. And as I say, for me, as a boxing fan, it's a massive thing for me because it's the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Forget Fabio Wardley, forget the other guys. Emmanuel Charles got the WBA and whatever interim or regular championships. You know, it's such a mix-up. This is the true champion is Usyk, and he is the true champion. Even Dubois, as I say, is a champion by default, but this is the proper undisputed title. And why am I excited? Because I'm looking at 4 championship belts that represent undisputed unified champion, and these belts are the very ones that, you know, this very fight, the very championship, heavyweight championship of the world. This is exactly what it says on the tin. This is the one that they all fought for. John L. Sullivan, Jack Dempsey, Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, the list goes on, Muhammad Ali, you know, Larry Holmes. You know, this is a genuine world heavyweight championship fight, and this will go down in history as such. So yes, I'm proud to be there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get separate videos, one for my show, one for Boxing WBC, and I'm going to report on that and then post them, hopefully post them on the night, if not the day, the next day. So you all have all that, and I'm going to try and do a round by round of the fight of Usyk-Dubois. You know, after the thing, I'm going to quickly record my notes on it. Obviously, I can't record the fight. I could on my phone, but I could get chucked out of the arena because you're not allowed to record. I mean, everybody takes photos and that. But, and not only that, I'd probably face legal action from Frank Warren, if I videoed it and put it online. So I've got to be careful with that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited. As I say, I've never been to a world heavyweight championship fight before, and this is very exciting for me. And yeah, I've got the day off from work for it, and yeah.
Well, this is the end of this podcast, boxing fans. I hope you have loved it. You know, it was a very good podcast with myself, Rick Amel, and Michael Angelo Serra. You know, so Michael Angelo Serra said Dubois maybe he can win this fight, not by decision, but he can win this fight by stoppage, you know. And so he said it's not the same generation than the 1970s, the 1980s, you know, but Usyk, he's a very good champion, a great champion. Nobody can beat him, you know, at this time. So that's it, what he said. Michelangelo Serra, very proud, you know, to be at the Wembley Stadium, you know, this weekend. And he's going to make, you know, a point, you know, at this fight, you know. He's going to make his comments round by round, you know, on this fight. I think it will be not possible to do that, you know, with a lot of people like that, you know, in the Wembley Stadium. I think it's impossible. But Michael, do your best. Thank you, Michael, for your podcast. You're a gentleman, you know, and I like your comments. Your comments are always just, you know, always right, you know. I like your comments. Thank you for your comment about the fight, you know, Usyk and Dubois. For myself, I think Anthony Joshua, you know, he's a legend of boxing. Okay, that's clear. I think Daniel Dubois is a wonderful athlete, and one day he will be a legend of boxing also. I think the same thing with Tyson Fury. For me, he's a legend of boxing, this gentleman also. Okay, so this is my comments, and I think Dubois, he's strong, you know, he's young. Okay, and as I told, I always tell, you know, youth, you know, wins over experience. Always, okay? I think, okay? But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Usyk can win this fight. If he win this fight, it's going to be by decision, you know, because he's not dominant as he was dominant, you know, in the cruiserweight. It's clear. So that's it, boxing fans. I'm going to talk a little bit in French. Voyez-vous, c'est comme ça. Donc, Usyk, pas aussi dominant en heavyweight qu'en cruiserweight, c'est clair. mais il réussit toujours à trouver le chemin de la victoire par décision, fan de boxe. C'est toujours des combats serrés parce que il n'est pas si grand que ça. C'est drôle à dire parce que il a la même grandeur que Mohamed Ali. Et on a prouvé aussi que Usyk, en tant que 6-3, et il pouvait battre un combattant de 6-9, mais c'était très serré. Et moi, je dirais que c'était probablement une nulle le deuxième combat, fan de boxe. C'était très serré entre les deux combattants. Donc, et voilà, fan de boxe. C'était tout. So, in English now, I think, the fight, Usyk, and Fury, too. It was very tight, this fight, I think it was a draw, this fight, okay? And for myself, Anthony Joshua, he's a legend of boxing, it's clear, and Dubois will be a legend also in the future. Tyson Fury, for me, he's a legend of boxing also, and thank you very much, Michael Angelo Serra. You will be in the Wembley Stadium, this weekend, and he will make us, comments about this fight, okay, round by round. But as I told you, I think it will be impossible. Too much people inside the Wembley Stadium this weekend. But Michael, do your best, and can't wait to see your comments this weekend, at Boxing WBC, our site, Boxing WBC, so, and your show, Et donc, c'est un plaisir donc de voir éventuellement le show de Michael Angelo Serra sur Boxing WBC, qui est notre site commun à tous les deux, qu'on a fondé ensemble. Donc, c'est une fierté aussi. Donc, et voilà, qui est sur la plateforme Boxing Club. Merci beaucoup. Thank you, everybody. Good luck this weekend. Who's gonna win this fight? Boxing fans, I want to see your comments, at the LondonMontreal Boxing Show. Fans de boxe, dites-nous vos commentaires sur le combat. Qui va gagner ce combat-là? Thank you, everybody. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Au revoir.